Wow, what a great interview. I feel like we laid the perfect foundation for today's Real Talk segment. And in case you missed out on episode number 1, every show is going to end with a Real Talk segment. And it is a place where Sandy and I just go there. You know, those topics that you need. Sometimes it's diving into a question from a listener or working on a challenge that someone from our Facebook group posted. Sometimes we're going to discuss various current events, you know, whatever it is that affects our kids and is part of becoming a mighty parent. And today, I know, Sandy, you came prepared with a topic for us for our Real Talk segment. So let's go for it.
Yeah, so I was talking with parents online, and these are parents of high school, college students, us, our peeps, and we were talking about things that we're concerned about as parents. You know, what are we worried about in the way, you know, in parenting our kids? What are we worried about for our kids? And the topic came up is someone being worried about their kid taking the long, hard road. This mom and her husband had done that. They took the long, hard road. They made a lot of mistakes. And they're like, you know, yes, you learn from it and everything else, but they want better for their kids. They want their kids to learn from their mistakes and not take the long, hard road. They want them to just go to where they should be and, you know, nice, straight path. And I kind of changed a little bit of what I was thinking about talking about after our conversation with Dr. G. Because now I see where this conversation ties right into what she said. She talked about that idea of us wanting to fix the road for our kids. And right in the conversation, the woman who brought it up commented, and I don't even know if she realized she did. She said, you know, yeah, that road helped us become who we are.
So why is it that we as parents, and I know I am guilty of this, you know, with so many of my parenting friends, why is it that we want to jump in and fix? You know, I don't want my kids to be in pain. And then, you know, you hear information from experts that say that having our kids stumble and fall with a little bit of guidance is the best thing for them. How did we get to that point that we forgot that? I don't, you know.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's a good question, because when I think back, I go back to that place again where, you know, when I talked about that, where I said, you know, when our kids were little, when they were learning to walk and they fell down, I was definitely not the parent that ran over unless they were honestly injured. But even if they, you know, because most of the time, if you watch a kid, when they fall over, they just get a surprised look on their face. They don't start out crying unless mom or dad or a well-meaning adult comes rushing over right away going, oh, it's okay. Are you okay? The kids who I see their parents doing that, it's like they learn to cry when they fall down, even though they didn't get hurt.
Right.
So as you were talking about, I'm thinking back to that. And as I'm saying it out loud, I'm like, oh my gosh, again, that's how we created the problem. But I think it goes back to a couple of things. Judy, you just said, we don't want to see our kids hurt. Dr. G said, we want our kids to be happy. I also had another thought that I didn't have time to express during the previous conversation. And part of that is we're all so busy that taking the time to let our kids make mistakes and try things and screw it up and fail, we don't feel like we have the time to do it. So think again, I'm going to go back to when they're little for a minute because the visual is good and then we'll move forward. But you know, when they're learning to pour that gallon of milk, how hard was it to stand back and let them manage even a smaller container, you know, a pint or a quart or something, knowing, or just have the cup without the sippy lid because you know
it's going to go all over the counter.
Yeah, and then you got to take the time to clean it up. And ideally, what I hear Dr. G telling me is we're going to have them help us clean it up. So fast forwarding, they were supposed to register for classes and they didn't. And now they got to straighten that out. And, you know, maybe they goofed up something, you know, they wanted to try out for the high school baseball team and they missed tryouts. And now you have to live with this. So I'm in that place again of going, we don't want them to hurt. and we don't want to hurt.
Well, and it's funny that you say that, because instantly the thing that I see happening with high school seniors, parents, a big thing that they talk about is they won't apply for their scholarships. They won't get their applications in. And we as parents think that we need to facilitate. And I know this is a topic for another day about college and things, because it's one of those
there's so much there.
That we agree to disagree and agree on different points. So I can't wait.
You just don't want to drag out my soapbox right now.
Exactly. So, but it's like this whole thing of mindset of, if I don't help my kids, fill out their applications and write those essays to get into the college, then they won't get into the college they need, and they won't be successful, and they won't have the life that they want. And if we listen to what Dr. G said today, or what the parent that was talking, she wants to create this easy road. When we do things like enable our children, because that's what we're doing when we're helping with the essays and we're helping with the applications, we're enabling them. Because if they're going to college off on their own, if they can't do all the predisposition or the pre-things to do that, are they ready?
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Are they ready to do it? So
yeah.
It just goes into that whole mindset of, where is excessive helpfulness hurting our kids and making them, need to succeed and be perfect, or they can't handle it.
Well, and what's interesting to me, Judy, is listening to you and going back to, what this mom expressed was, my hubby and we took the long, hard road, and I want better for my kids. But when you talked about it, you got real and you went, what we're really saying in that statement is, I want my kid to have the easy road to happiness. And I think just that alone, I think reframing it and getting real about what we're saying, that alone is enough for me to go, okay, not that I want my children to have hardships, but I don't have to sit there and make their life easier and better. The other thing is, well, we don't have time to get into it in a huge way. Judy, you and your husband, me and my husband, we both did things through our lives that made us on the long, hard road. Mm-hmm. And yes, we had some really difficult things along the way. But where we ended up is absolutely nowhere near where we would have ended up if we hadn't done the hard things, nor would we be the people that we are, which this mom also touched on too. Exactly. It's just so painful sometimes to watch our kids do that. So maybe as parents, it's more a matter of saying it's okay for the kids to be unhappy, for them to feel pain. And it's okay for us as parents to be really sad when that happens. But just
opening up and saying that, and saying, I know this didn't turn out the way you wanted it to, but I want you to understand that I don't think it means anything that you couldn't do it later. It didn't work out exactly this time, but let's figure out together how we can use this experience to move forward. As parents, we want to become, especially in those teen years and the young adult years, our role changes from provider to guide, in my opinion. And we can guide them through the mistakes instead of fixing those mistakes or fixing those sadnesses. I am a fixer. I will put it out there, and I have had my children look at me and say, Mom, the only person that can fix this is me. And I need you to let me do it. Hardest thing you have to swallow. And I know in the months to come, you're going to share your story, Sandy, of your family stuff, and I'll share mine. And those experiences helped us get to the point where we can be real and talk about things to help other parents. So I'm excited about where we're taking this and how we can help other parents really learn that we can have difficult times. We don't need to make sure that our kids' path is simple and easy. That isn't the way to happiness, or isn't the only way to happiness.
Yeah. And support our friends and other parents.
Absolutely.
That was the last bit that I there's so much else I want to say, but I know we have to go. But I just want to remind us as parents, have these conversations as we're talking to our friends, as we're talking to other parents, encourage them to allow their kids to figure things out. And if they need to cry because it's hard to watch your child hurt, then sit there and hold their hand while they cry.
And don't bring up your own crap at the
Okay,
same
well,
time.
another conversation. Another conversation.
Yes, I know.
Today has been fantastic, and we loved doing this, but we want to keep things moving forward. So pop on over to mightyparentingpodcast.com and make sure to grab your free gift. It's a little something from Judy and myself to you to help you on your parenting journey. After you do that, hop on Facebook and join the Mighty Parenting group. We'll continue conversations there. Until next time, this is Sandy Fowler and Judy Davis, helping you become a mighty parent.